My name is Captain 37, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to answer questions in this paper. Question number 12. The presiding justice hears cases in the A. High Court, B. Local Court, C. Supreme Court, and D. Traditional Court. What this question is asking you is that at which court do you find the presiding justice? Because different courts are administered, or it is different people, they have different titles that sit and listen to cases. In the High Court, it is judges. In the local court, it is justices. And so we already know that the answer is going to be B. Supreme Court, it is judges. Traditional Court, I do not know what they are called. Do you know what they are called? Find out from your auntie or your uncle. Question number 13. Dash is the study of the methods used by society to produce goods and services it requires to satisfy its basic needs such as food, clothes, and shelter. What do you call the study of the methods used by society to produce goods and services? Do you call that development? Do you call that economics? Do you call that productivity? Or do you call that statistics? The answer to this particular question is B. Economics is the study of the methods used by society to produce goods and services. Question number 14. What type of industry is Konkola Copper Mines? Is Konkola Copper Mines explosive industry? Is it primary industry? Is it secondary industry? Or maybe it is the service industry? You need to understand that the primary industry, for example, is a type of industry which involves where the companies in that particular industry extract raw materials such as copper. They extract raw materials from the ground and they are going to do something with that particular raw material. The primary focus or the primary emphasis is that a company like Konkola Copper Mines is mining, and it is in the business of extracting raw material, and therefore it is in the primary industry. Secondary industry is when a company is involved in getting the particular raw material and making, for example, copper cables. An example of a company that is in the secondary industry is Zamefa. What Zamefa does is that it makes copper cables. And so, the answer to this particular question is B. Question 16. In 2003, the American and British soldiers invaded Iraq and later captured President Saddam Hussein. On which date was Saddam Hussein executed? Saddam Hussein was the president of Iraq. He was killed, executed on December 30, 2006. Question 17. Zambia currently has been affected by adverse climate changes such as droughts and floods. The government, through the disaster management team, provides relief food and other basic needs. The office of the Dash runs the disaster management team. What office manages the disaster management team. You know, sometimes there's floods and so people's crops are destroyed because there's too much water. Sometimes there is very little water and there is drought. This is what it means by drought, and that is what it means by floods. So in Zambia, we have got what is known as the Disaster Management Unit. The Disaster Management Unit is under which office? And that is the question this question is asking. Under which office is the disaster management team, the disaster management unit? Is it A, the Auditor General, B, the Finance Minister, C, Secretary General, D, Vice President? The Auditor General deals with finances, accounting for how money has been used by the government. The Finance Minister is responsible for policy with regards to money relating to a country. The Secretary General is a position for different political parties, including different clubs. The Vice President is an office that is electable here in Zambia. The Vice President is elected, and one of the responsibilities of the Vice President's office is to look after people who've been affected by droughts and floods. And therefore, the answer to this particular question is D. Question number 18. Dash is a check which is signed by the drawer, but some of the necessary information may be omitted. For example, date, amount in words, and payee's name. What we are doing here is that we are looking at a topic of checks. You can see there's check as option for A, there's check, and there's a check. You need to know the different types of checks. A blank check is one which is signed, but the amount is left to the payee. Now, who is the payee? The payee is the person who is receiving the particular check. There is the drawer, there is the drawer, there is the payee, and there is the payer. And there is the drawee. The drawer is the person who gives out the check. They issue the check. The payee is the person who is receiving. The name of that particular person, the recipient of the check, the person receiving. The drawee is the bank where that particular check is going to be presented. So a blank check is one where it is signed, but some of the information like the date, the amount, and the payee's name may be omitted. So we already know that the answer to this particular question is A. But I'll just explain a little bit for you to know what a bearer check is, what a cross check is, and what an order check is. A bearer check is one where the words bearer, the word bearer is not cancelled. That's what you need to remember. The word bearer is not cancelled, and this type of check does not need to be signed. Generally, all checks must be signed, but this check does not need to be signed. C, a cross check is one which has got parallel lines like this. It's crossed. And D, an order check is one where the word bearer is not cancelled. I hope that makes sense. You need to know these things because, like you've seen, the examiners may ask you. The answer to this particular question, A. Question number 19. During elections, voters have the right to A. to receive bribes from contesting candidates, B. use weapons to fight against the government, C. to vote twice so that a certain party wins, D. vote without intimidation or fear. When you vote, when people go to vote, should they receive bribes? No, so this answer is wrong. Should they use weapons? No, so this answer is not correct. Should they vote twice? No, because you can only vote once. Should they vote without fear and intimidation? Yes, the answer is D. Question number 21. Recently, businessmen from outside the country have been allowed to run different types of ventures like mines, supermarkets, farms, and factories in Zambia. What term is used to refer to such people? So the government may allow people to come into the country, and these particular people can run mines, they can have supermarkets, farms, and factories. What do you call these people? Are they economists? Are they investors? Are they merchants? Or are they missionaries? Economists are people who study on how a country can generate wealth and how that wealth can be distributed. So this is not the answer. Investors are people who come into a country and they're going to put money into that particular economy, and they're going to run businesses like mines, like supermarkets. So we know already that the answer to this particular question is B. Merchants are people who are involved in trading, like selling, ordering stuff and selling it, usually across the borders. Missionaries are people that go to preach the gospel. The answer to this particular question is